If we focus ourselves on the cardiovascular system, what we can say about the cardiovascular system is nothing but it's a transport system of the body. It's just a transport system of the body. So components of this transport system is nothing but the heart, the blood vessel and the blood. So heart here acting as a pump, the blood vessel here acting as a delivery system, and the blood itself acting here as a oxygen and nutrients containing fluid to carry and to remove waste away from the peripheral towards the heart. So compiling all these three, that is the heart, blood vessel and blood, forms the cardiovascular system as a transport system of the body. So heart is nothing but heart is a muscular organ which is conical in shape, like fist in a fist size, and about size, if we say, around 8 centimeter, 8 by 8 centimeter area. Now this heart is located between two lungs in the middle mediastinum, and it is covered by the pericardium, which contains the pericardial fluid. Now in this picture we can rightly see the borders and the surfaces of the heart. If we see in these pictures, what we will find that the right border of the heart is formed by the right atrium, whereas inferior border of the heart is formed by the right ventricle, whereas if you see in this picture, the left border of the heart is formed by the left ventricle. You just go above this, you will find that the upper border or the base of the heart is formed by the great vessels and the part of the left atrium. So all these form the surface of the heart. In this picture again, what we can see that anterior surface of the heart is formed by the right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle and the left ventricle. So this is about the border and the surface of the heart. Again, this slide will show you about the details which I have explained you right now. This heart has compiled of the walls. There are two types of walls, that is atrioventricular walls and the semilunar walls. Atrioventricular walls are those walls which separate the atria from the ventricle. So there are two types of atrioventricular walls, that is bicuspid wall which separates the left atrium from left ventricle, and the tricuspid walls which separates the right atrium from the right ventricle. And again there are another two groups of walls that is called as the semilunar walls, and that are we see in the aortic and pulmonary trunk. So these types of walls are called as the semilunar walls, and all these are the tricuspid walls. So this is about the some external features of the heart related to the border and surface. Now, as far as the auscultation area, that is important from the examination point of view, are concerned. So where this auscultation pulmonary area is located. So to auscultate or to better hear the abnormality related to the pulmonary area, we need to auscultate, or it is better heard in the second intercostal space on the left side, in the second intercostal space and left side of the sternum. Whereas if we come towards the aortic area, or the pathology or the abnormality related to the walls or the aortic wall, that can be best auscultated in the right second costal cartilage, just next or adjacent to the sternum. Now coming to the pathology or abnormality related to the mitral area. So that we can heard very clearly and loudly in the apex area, that is in the fifth intercostal space in the mid clavicular line on the left side. Now about the tricuspid area pathology, we need to auscultate in the lower end of the sternum to get idea about any abnormality related to the tricuspid walls. So that is about the auscultation area. Now we will come to the blood supply of the heart. As we know, the coronary arteries are the main source of blood supply to the heart, and these coronary arteries arises from the arch or the base of the arch of the aorta, and there are of two types, that is the left coronary artery and the right coronary artery. Again, this left coronary artery gives the blood supply to the anterior part of the heart with the help of anterior interventricular branch, and the circumflex artery which goes posteriorly and supplies blood supply to the posterior part of the heart. And again there are some diagonal branches which arises from this left coronary artery, whereas in the right coronary artery it gets divides into the posterior interventricular branch and marginal branch. So this is in short about the blood supply to the heart. The amount of blood supply. So heart gets the blood supply around 225 ml per minute to do its function, that is, and this blood supply it gets to the epicardial artery that we have discussed right now, that is coronary arteries. Now apart from this blood supply, we need to focus on some other second source of blood supply, that is heart getting from the collateral circulation. So now what is this collateral circulation? If we see, these collaterals are nothing but the small branches of the coronary arteries that are running perpendicularly from the coronary arteries and piercing through the muscular, that is cardiac myocardium, and giving blood supply to the myocardium, which are not yet established but can be established with some efforts or with some treatment, and this can act as a second source of blood supply during the crisis. So as we know, in the myocardial infarction, if we do have this collateral blood supply during this crisis, then definitely we can prevent the heart failure, and we will discuss in detail about in our further lectures. So this collateral circulation is the very important part of this lecture, where we need to discuss and focus about this to increase this collateral circulation, to establish, to develop this collateral circulation, and to save the life of the patient. Now broadly class functions of the heart. So it is very easier to understand that what is the main important functions of the heart, that the ejection of blood and the collection of blood. If we see ejection of blood, it deals with the contraction of the heart, whereas the collection of blood that deals with the collection of the blood, it means the relaxation of the heart. So we need to understand these two functions very clearly, because any pathology related to this contraction of the heart or else with the relaxation of the heart, we are going to call it as a systolic failure or a diastolic failure of the heart. So to understand this, we will now see how the heart functions. So from functions of the or the circulation of the heart, if we see, so it is like that from all peripheral body or the system, the blood gets collected through the superior and inferior vena cava and enters into the right atrium. From the right atrium, it enters through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle, and from right ventricle it is ejected out through the pulmonary trunk to the lungs, and there it gets purified or oxygenated, and again it is collected through 4 pulmonary veins into the left atrium, and this blood from this left atrium again enters to the left ventricle through the bicuspid valves, and this blood which is there in the left ventricle again gets ejected out of the left ventricle through the aorta and given to the rest of the part of the body as a nutrient through blood. So this is about the circulation of the heart. Now again coming back to the workload on heart. So as we discussed, so workload on heart is nothing but the any condition that leads to increased workload on the heart because of damage to the cardiac muscles, that will lead to the reduced ejection fraction, or what we called it as a reduce the cardiac output, and that is the basic thing or the main thing or root cause of the heart disease. There may be any cause by which even if the cardiac muscles if don't get their 225 ml of blood supply because of any reason, that can be also a cause to the reduced amount of ejection fraction or the cardiac output. So, we will see about the details of that in our further lectures.